For breakfast, I'm starting off the morning with a nice smoothie. Smoothies are probably one of my favorite things for breakfast. So I added half a cup of almond milk and half a cup of water into my Vitamix, along with 1 scoop of protein powder, 100 grams of frozen cauliflower rice, about 70 grams of frozen peeled zucchini, and then 70 grams of frozen wild blueberries. I really like wild blueberries the best rather than normal, and a handful of ice cubes, along with another splash of water so it can blend super well. Then I just blend it all together until it is super smooth and thick and creamy. Then I decided to add in this blue spirulina powder, which is basically just a superfood, and it's supposed to have a lot of health benefits. Plus, I just really like that it turns my smoothie extra blue because I think it's super fun. And I really like making my smoothies into a smoothie bowl rather than just a smoothie, so I topped it off with some Love Grown Poweros, which is a cereal made from beans, along with a little scoop of Abby's Better cashew butter, and this is the key lime flavor, which is super good. And then I also added in some cacao nibs on top too. I love my smoothies super thick, and this is the perfect consistency for me. This is pretty much my go-to breakfast, and I eat it basically every single day. Then I decided to make some coffee, and since it's getting colder outside, I wanted to make a pumpkin spice version, and making my coffee this way has been a total game changer. You have got to try it. So obviously first you just want to grind up your coffee like you normally would and then put it in the coffee filter. This is where it gets interesting. You can add in your own spices. So I am adding in pumpkin pie spice along with some cinnamon and vanilla extract, and this is where your coffee will get all of the pumpkin spicy flavors that are so good and warm for fall. So while the coffee is brewing, I decided to be a nice wife and make my husband some oatmeal for breakfast. So I added in 2/3 of a cup of almond milk along with a sprinkle of salt, let that come to a boil before I added in 1/3 cup of oats, stirred that together a little bit, added in my pumpkin puree, along with some vanilla protein powder, a sprinkle of cinnamon, some pumpkin pie spice, and monk fruit extract, or any sweetener of choice. Then I just stirred it all together, and it was perfectly thick and creamy and the best oatmeal consistency. I just transferred it into this little bowl and added a bunch of toppings. I drizzled on top with some almond butter along with some pumpkin pie spice and then some cacao date drizzle that is super good. This oatmeal is so good. I actually took a bite of it because I wanted to try it, but my husband actually really enjoyed it, so that is a win. All right, so the coffee is now done brewing, and I am so particular about how I make my coffee every morning. So I add half a cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk along with a little bit of monk fruit extract, blend that together so it's all nice and frothy, pour it in a mug, put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then pour my coffee over top. It almost tastes like a pumpkin spice latte with all the spices that I added in the coffee, and then even sprinkled it on top with some cinnamon. I look forward to drinking this every morning. It's one of the reasons why I want to wake up in the morning. Alright, so it has been a rainy, gloomy day. You can probably hear the rain. But we had a really slow morning, but we still had to get out and run some errands because there's a few food items that we need for the rest of the week since we ran out. So obviously we had to go to Aldi because it is my favorite grocery store, but I will show you what all we got when we get back at home.
All right, so we made it back from Aldi and we only spent like $24 or so because we didn't need just a whole lot of food, but we did need some staples. We are going out of town later this week, so that's why this haul was pretty small. So I just got some almond milk because I ran out today after making our coffee. I also got some zucchini. It was their produce pick of the week, so only 89 cents, and I'll just use that for my smoothies. This I was very excited about because it is the pumpkin spice coconut whipped cream. I can't wait to try it, and it was the last one in stock at the store that I went to. Had to get some cilantro completely out and need some fresh herbs for all of my dishes. Brussels sprouts because I'm using them for dinner tonight, and just wait because it's gonna be super good. And I got 4 more packages of tofu. Oh. Because I go through tofu like it's my job. I got some cucumbers because I like to snack on these and put them in my salads, and I really like the seedless kind, which they have there for only 99 cents. And I had to get my kombucha to sip on through the week, and this time I got the Pink Lady apple.
So for lunch, I'm just making a quick salad, and I'm using these pea protein crumbles because I'm trying to add in more protein into my diet. I added in hot water to my pea protein crumbles. This is what rehydrates it and make it more like of a meaty type texture. I also added in a tablespoon of nutritional yeast to give it extra flavor and some cheesiness. For the vegetables that I'm going to saute, I'm just dicing up some white onion, slicing up some mushrooms, and then also chopping up some red bell peppers. I also went ahead and just chopped up my fresh vegetables, and today I just used some cucumber and celery. And then in a skillet over medium-high heat, I just added in my onions, mushrooms, and peppers and sauteed those until they were nice and hot and they started to get a little bit brown. Then I added in my pea protein crumbles from earlier into the sauteed vegetable mixture, and to flavor it up even more, I added in some za'atar seasoning and some chickenless seasoning. Mixed that all together until everything was heated through and fully combined. And to assemble my whole salad, I added in my greens along with the celery, cucumbers, some fresh chopped cilantro, a couple of pickles, some sauerkraut. I love these, lots of probiotics in that. And then my sauteed vegetables with pea protein crumbles in it. And to top it off, I added my homemade vegan nacho cheese.
Oh my gosh, I am so hungry and I am ready to just devour this whole thing. I think my new favorite thing are these pea protein crumbles with pepper, mushroom, and onion sauteed all together. It's really so good. Also, this morning, I forgot to take my vitamins, so I need to take these. This is the complement kind. So it has B12, D3, DHA, EPA, and K2. So some essential vitamins that vegans and then even non-vegans could be deficient in. So I take these every day.
Time for a snack because I'm getting pretty hungry, so I'm just gonna make a quick little snack plate. And I started by just chopping up my celery and cucumbers along with the avocado. And then to put my snack plate all together, I also got a thin rice cake and I added on some Kite Hill vegan cream cheese to the top of that. Kite Hill cream cheese is so good. I have been loving it on lots of things, especially on these cucumbers. It's like one of my new favorite snacks. Then I had to make some ants on a log because that is one of my all-time favorite snacks too. I just really love snacks a lot.
So I usually always have a snack between lunch and dinner because by that point I'm pretty hangry and need some food. So this has been like my go-to snacks for the past few days now. So it is time for dinner and we're just keeping it super simple and just making a sheet pan meal. So I'm using tofu and vegetables and then also some delicata squash on the side. I've made this a few other times before and it has become one of my absolute favorite dinners.
To start, we just need to prep our vegetables. So I'm chopping up one whole bag of Brussels sprouts and I chop these into halves and quarters. I can't really decide on which ones I like the best, so I do a variety of both. After that, I sliced my mushrooms and also onions because mushrooms and onions go great with everything. But for the onions, I just cut them into quarters and kept them pretty thick. Once all my vegetables were prepped, I just added them all into a bowl together. So the Brussels sprouts, the mushrooms, and the onions. And then I added in some extra firm tofu that I just crumbled into pieces. For the seasonings, I added in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and 1 tablespoon of coconut aminos and mixed all of that together until everything was fully coated and combined. So you might need to adjust that as needed. I also added in a few cloves of garlic, probably about 6 cloves of garlic because you can never have too much garlic. I sprinkled in some salt along with pepper, mixed that all together, and again, just adjusted my seasonings as needed. For the delicata squash, which is my all-time favorite fall squash, I just rinsed it off and then chopped off the edge of it so that it would be easier to cut, and then sliced it all the way down the middle, but I still couldn't cut it all the way through, so I just kind of slammed it on the counter until it came all the way apart. Then I scooped all of the seeds out of the middle and then just sliced it into little semicircles. I put all of my sliced delicata squash into a bowl and then sprayed it with some coconut aminos, mixed them all together and added in some more spices. I added in some pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon, mixed that all together until everything was fully coated and combined. Now that everything is prepped, I grabbed a giant baking sheet, aligned it with parchment paper, and then just threw the vegetable mixture onto the baking sheet. For the delicata squash, I used a baking stone and again, just threw it on there, made sure everything was spread out nice and even. Before putting it into the oven, I sprinkled it again with some pumpkin pie spice and some cinnamon. And for the other vegetable pan, I just sprinkled it with some extra salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Then I put everything in the oven at 425 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. The delicata squash might be done a little bit sooner, so you can check that at around 25 minutes. To go with our vegetables, I made the most incredible sauce ever, and all it took was just about a tablespoon of stone ground mustard along with about a tablespoon of agave and mix that all together. And then once everything came out of the oven looking nice and golden brown, I just added it all into a bowl, the vegetables on one side with the delicata squash on the other.
I love this meal so much because it is so simple and super flavorful. Let's try it because your girl's hungry. That is insanely good. This honey mustard made with just original stone ground mustard is so good. I love the tanginess with the sweetness. And for the delicata squash, my all-time favorite squash. These are heavenly and so fall-y, super cozy. I love delicata squash and could eat like a million.
Dessert is probably my favorite meal of the day and I never skip it, so tonight is no different. So into a bowl, I just added in some vegan protein powder and I've been loving this vegan cake batter flavor. And then I add in about 1 tablespoon of almond flour along with some pumpkin pie spice, cinnamon, a pinch of baking powder and a pinch of baking soda, about a tablespoon or so of pumpkin puree, and then a 1/4 cup of unsweetened almond milk and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I mix that all together and then I also added in some chocolate chips to that as well because I love chocolate. Then I just added into this little bowl that I sprayed with some avocado oil so that nothing sticks to the sides, and then I topped it off with some extra chocolate chips because again, I love chocolate. I put it in the microwave for about 2 to 3 minutes and check it after 2 minutes to see how it is, and it actually came out quite perfect. I also topped it off with some Abby's Better strawberry cashew nut butter this time, and I love Abby's Better nut butters because they have so many flavors, and I have a discount code that will be linked below if you want to use that and try them out for yourself. To finish it off, I added some vegan pumpkin whipped cream that I found at Aldi today.
All right, I'm ready to dig in. Let's eat this bad boy. So obviously this isn't like an indulgent dessert, it's more of like a healthy dessert that's weeknight friendly that I eat like every single night, compared to an indulgent dessert like brownies or cakes. I wouldn't eat those every single night, though I wish I could. Showing you what I eat in a day is fun and all, but what about what I eat in a week? In this video right here, I do exactly that. I have so many vegan meal options for you, so give it a click and I'll see you in the next video.